Hi, my name's Terry Churchill, and I help people go from overwhelm to overcoming and from stress to success in the area of personal finance. So I have been doing this for a few years, but I have been sort of on the down low, or actually kind of out of the loop in the finance area, the financial coaching for about a year. So I took a really wonderful, amazing detour for about a year where I worked for a company and where I helped with coaching of women in business. And it was amazing and I loved it and super, super fun for me. And I learned a ton. And now, a year later, I am not doing that anymore and I'm back to financial coaching. And I'm so excited because I'm able to apply so much of what I learned over that year to really help people, I think, and serve people at a higher level than I was able to even a year ago. So I'm super excited to be back and to be focusing on your finances, helping you get control over them because we are either in control of our money or we're wondering where it went. So those are really the only two options we have. So I want to help you be in control of your money. So I want to speak to right now just this crazy time, this coronavirus that's going on, and all the stuff that's going on with that. There's can be a real sense of feeling out of control, and you can feel out of control maybe in your health. Like, am I going to catch the virus? Am I not going to? And we can do certain things to avoid that, but we still feel ultimately a little bit out of control, maybe. So, and then the other area is the finances. There is a real sense of feeling out of control, especially if we're being laid off, we're being let go from our jobs, maybe our hours are cut. We don't know, maybe we're working from home, but we don't know if our hours are going to be cut. So we don't know if there's a fear or a sense of out of control because there's a lot of these things around our finances that we don't have a lot of say in. So that's what I want to speak to right now is the finances, of course. So the first thing I want to say, I just want to give you three things to kind of focus on in the area of finances right now during this crazy time. And one is don't panic. And I know that sounds so simple, but so hard to do. And it really is a choice. It's a mindset choice. I want you to, instead of feeling panic, I want you to take a deep breath, say a prayer, trust that God has a plan, and that everything is figure outable. And that with you and Him together, you can figure this out because that's the truth. So that's the first thing is don't panic and get your mindset in that place of this is figure outable. When we went through our financial devastation with the real estate, when the real estate market crashed, we did panic. And what happens when you panic is you make bad choices. Check, we did that. So you make bad decisions. Oh, and you also kind of look the other way and hope it gets better. You have a tendency when you're in a panic mode to like, oh, I just hope it goes away and I don't want to deal with it. I hope when I wake up it's all better. And that rarely happens. So don't panic like we did. Learn from our mistake. Because the thing is, when we stopped the panic and we figured out like, hey, we got to do something about this, it was still there. And so then when we dealt with it and we looked at it, we quit panicking and we said, okay, it's figure outable. It actually was. But there was a lot more to figure out than if we had figured it out and looked at it much sooner. So I just encourage you right away, right now, if things are starting to feel a little stressful, you're starting to panic, take a deep breath, trust that God's with you, and that this is figure outable. Just like everything is figure outable. It might not be easy, but it is possible. Okay, so one, don't panic. Get your mindset in the right place. And then the second thing is to look at the things that you can control. And that can give you a sense of peace. Like, okay, there are some things within my control, like how I spend my time, what my habits are. And the thing I mostly want to talk about right now about what you can control is something called a budget. And all a budget is your income minus your expenses equals zero. So a budget is just a plan for the money that you have. So if right now you're worried that you might have less money in the future or you already do have less income coming in, you want to look at that and create a budget in reality. This is the income, these are expenses. Now, you might have to look at that carefully and say, wow, like the amount of income is less, so where can we cut our expenses? You might have to put your cable on pause, or you might have to what are some other expenses that you could cut that would be really easy? You can have a look, but it might not be I shouldn't say easy. It might not be easy, but they're ones that you can live without. So, and then the third thing is focus. Focus on these 4 things, okay? So, and this has to do with your income and expenses, but if you are trying to create a budget and you're looking at, okay, this is something I can control as my budget, then what you want to focus on within your budget are 4 really, really main areas. And Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time. The 4 pillars, okay? So it's your housing, food, transportation, and clothing. You want to focus on those 4 things. So if you are needing to cut back on expenses, you can look at those areas. You want to keep them in the budget for sure, those 4, but maybe you can cut back. Maybe there's a way you can cut back on transportation expenses. Maybe there's a way you can cut back on food, monthly food, stop eating out, and it's just temporary. It won't last forever, but in the meantime, but whatever you do, don't panic. Get your mindset in the right place. I can figure this out. Control what you can. One of those things is a budget that you can control, and then focus. Focus on the 4 things that you want to make sure that you're able to get those covered. So how do you do that? How do you focus on, how do you get those things covered? What if you look at your income, you look at those 4 things, you've got them down to the bare minimum, it's not enough. Then you want to focus on, okay, how do I generate a little bit more income? What side hustles can I do in just during this time temporarily to fill in the gaps? So that's my word of encouragement to you. I know it's not always easy, but I really want to encourage you, don't panic during this time. And if you have any questions, I am here to answer questions. If you need a little guidance in some area, I am happy to do that. And then if you want to talk about coaching, let's connect. Let's see if it's a good time for you to do that. But if you just have a question, I'd love to answer it for you around those things about just this kind of time that we're feeling out of control and not really sure what's going to happen. I would love to encourage you. So have a great day. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy and that you are budgeting. All right. Talk to you soon.